news now coming in from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court could hear a curative plea as far as the Maharashtra reservation is concerned, or the reservation for the Marathas is concerned. Now, this has been a politically contentious issue as far as Maharashtra is concerned. We saw massive protests across Maharashtra over the issue of Maratha quota. So, some relief there for the Maharashtra government, given the fact that the Supreme Court is set to hear a curative plea on Maratha quota. This has been a sensitive issue as well, a tightrope walk for the Maharashtra government. And now, ahead of the Maharashtra Assembly poll, the Supreme Court will be hearing this issue. Now, remember, the Supreme Court had earlier, importantly, said that this is illegal because this is, in a sense, against the 50% cap as far as the reservations are concerned. Now, the Supreme Court has time and again sort of reiterated and emphasized that 50% cap on reservation is sacrosanct and that cannot be breached. But this is something that the BJP government has backed, the BJP Shiv Sena government has backed time and again. In fact, it was just a couple of weeks back that we saw Home Minister Amit Shah in Pune saying that the BJP is completely in favor of the Maratha quota, and that it will, sort of bring in Maratha quota if it comes to power, sort of promising the people of Maharashtra that Maratha quota will be one of their top priorities. It was in Pune, in fact, when Amit Shah launched the BJP's campaign in the state that, they announced that Maratha quota is something that is a top poll promise of the BJP. But some relief there, as I said, breather of sorts for the Maharashtra government, with the Supreme Court planning to hear a curative petition, on the Maratha quota issue. We've seen protests across Maharashtra earlier as well, where there were violent protests as well, and this has been a law and order issue for the state as well, for the Chief Minister to, in a sense, make sure that this is something that is dealt with sensitively, because, as I said, this is a politically contentious issue and a sensitive issue in the state. But finally, some relief remains to be seen what the Supreme Court says, because the Supreme Court earlier has had a very strong position vis-a-vis the Maratha quota. The Supreme Court has said that this is illegal because this, in a sense, violates the 50% cap, which, as I said, is sacrosanct as per the courts when it comes to the issue of reservations. But now the Supreme Court may hear that issue. And this also, in the timing, is interesting, given the fact that this comes right ahead of the assembly elections in Maharashtra. The assembly elections are extremely crucial for the BJP. My colleague Radhika is now joining us live. So, Radhika, two aspects to this. One, of course, the Supreme Court has earlier said that this, in a sense, is illegal because it violates that 50% cap on reservations, which is sacrosanct, and that cannot be breached. But now the Supreme Court willing to hear a curative petition. What could it mean, and what are the political ramifications of this? Because just a couple of days back, we saw Amit Shah saying that Maratha quota is something that's going to be a priority for the BJP if it comes to power.
Certainly, as far as Maharashtra government is concerned, this certainly is some sort of relief. Of course, it has opened a window for them so as to argue this entire case once again. Of course, they had filed a review petition. A curative petition was to be heard, but then there were postponements and adjournments. Of course, now another date being given whereby this curative petition filed by Maharashtra government will be heard. Of course, Maharashtra government had challenged the striking down of Maratha reservation by the Supreme Court. Yes, as you rightly pointed out, it was as a result of the breach of that particular 50% reservation. Earlier, government had granted reservation, which was initially accepted by the Bombay High Court, and then it was struck down by the Supreme Court, and later review petition filed and now curative petition filed. As far as political ramifications are concerned, over the last many months, or rather several years, the governments, be it the past or the present, had been facing a lot of flack and had been under pressure from Maratha activists. Of course, the protests have only intensified, especially in the last 1 year or so. So the current government, especially, facing a lot of flack from, Maratha activists as far as reservation is concerned. There had been multiple committees formed. There had been multiple analysis and studies being done in order to understand the economic and social backwardness of the community as well. Post which, of course, 10% reservation bill was also, passed by the assembly. Earlier, of course, the government had also decided to give Marathas reservation under the OBC category, and that was also met with a lot of opposition, not just by a few from Maratha community, but also from within the OBC, who felt that their reservation is going to be diluted if Marathas are being given reservation under OBC category. So multiple steps were taken by the state government in order to get them under the reservation ambit, but they were unsuccessful to do so, which is why the protests were intensifying over the last several years. But now some sort of relief, especially ahead of assembly elections, this will open an opportunity or window for Maharashtra government to once again make their case as far as the reservation for Marathas in the state of Maharashtra is concerned.
That's right, Radhika. Thanks very much for joining us with the latest. As you were reporting, this has been a bit of a law and order issue for Maharashtra as well. We saw those violent agitations, those protests across Maharashtra, in the past couple of months particularly. Our senior colleague Sunil Prabhu, who tracks the Supreme Court for us, is also joining us on the phone lines. So, Sunil, sir, important there that the Supreme Court, which has earlier said that this is illegal, given the fact that it violates that 50% cap on reservations, which is sacrosanct, is now willing to listen to a curative petition on this?
Well, if there is a curative petition that gives them the liberty and the discretion to look at it, that doesn't mean that, they will be, as you know, these are in-camera hearings. A curative petition is where they will look at it in the substance, whether there has been any error in judgment that has been done. The trend as of now has been that in curative petitions, you really don't get any relief at all. So, even though it's an emotive issue, especially in the run-up to the state elections in Maharashtra, but at this present juncture, just as Justice Chandrachud, along with Chief Justice Chandrachud and Justice Sanjeev Khanna and Justice B.R. Gawai will look at it, gives some hope to the Maharashtra government. But at present, as I said, during a curative petition, they only see if there has been any error in judgment and what was the reasoning. Only then can they really take some kind of action, but usually they don't.